great news for you today. Green transition with lots of wind and solar is possible. That's the lessons learned from Denmark. We mitigate climate change, and we get a lot of benefits as well. Clean air, lots of jobs, revenues for local communities, and for Denmark, a huge export of clean technology and services. I'm a journalist. I'm writing articles on a daily basis. My first article mentioning climate change, it was in 1990, when Denmark, as the first country in the world, got an energy plan with CO2 reduction targets. It has been a bumpy road since then, but we are proceeding. 6 years ago, I wrote this book, Green Energy for All. I am still proud of the book, but I want to be honest with you. It's already a little bit outdated. For the past 6 years, something quite remarkable has happened. The prices on wind, on solar, on batteries, a lot of other core technologies in the green transition, they have been falling rapidly. It is a game changer for us in Denmark and for the whole world. We have done a lot, but Denmark is still not halfway through to carbon neutrality. But we have a vision, a clear vision of what should we do to proceed. It requires 2 steps. 1, decarbonisation. No more power plants running on fossil fuels. We have imported a lot of coal from South Africa and other countries, but within a few years, it's over. The coal era ends within the next 5 or 6 years. Step 2, electrification. It's a hard word to say even in Danish, but I do it a lot of time today. Hopefully I'll learn it. Electrification of transportation, industry, and heating. That's the next step. Step 1 and 2, combined. Decarbonisation, electrification. It's a very strong cocktail that will bring us further on. We are then entering the next phase of the green transition. Clean energy, decarbonized society. Talking about cars, buses, trains, ferries, even airplanes. And of course, not to forget industrial processes. Where are we? Well, back in the 70s, around 15 power plants in Denmark were running on oil. Then came the oil crisis, and all the power plants were converted into coal, 15 of them. It was a very central system. But look at the map in the middle here, 2018. We're moved from a central to a decentral power production, with lots of wind, solar, and combined heat and power production, not only in the large cities, all over the country. This year, sun and wind, especially wind, will cover around 50% of the Danish electricity consumption. The record is, a few years ago, it was 46% on a yearly basis, coming from wind and solar. Last Sunday, we got some new records on an hourly and a daily basis. On an hourly basis, 160% of the electricity consumption was covered by wind and solar. You might wonder what we do with the plus, the surplus. We exported it to our neighboring countries. The same day, last Sunday, for the whole day, sun and wind covered 130% of the electricity consumption. And if we add sustainable biomass and waste incineration, then the figures are even higher. How is it possible? Well, the answer is that we have a very flexible energy system. We have combined heat and power plants running on sustainable biomass. We have markets, we have storage, we have interconnectors and strong grids, and we have the unbundling of production, trades, and grids. as I mentioned, the share of wind and solar is 46% now. We have almost zero wind power curtailment. We use all the wind production that's produced. We have security of supply, world class. We haven't had a power cut for, I guess, 10 years. No blackouts, no brownouts. You like that in South Africa, I guess. And by 2028, in just 9 years, we could cover all our use of electricity by green products. And independence of fossil fuels, well, I think it's too pessimistic to talk about 2050. It could be a lot before. Well, how to move on? In these days, the Parliament in Copenhagen is discussing a new goal. As the ambassador told us earlier, we get a new CO2 reduction goal on 70% in 2030. And some of the means: no new cars running on oil, electrification of transportation and industry, a lot of offshore wind, more research and development, and afforestation. We should have more forests, not less. A plan like this would make an outcry, I guess, in a lot of countries, with the industry saying, oh no, we can't afford it, it's too expensive. In Denmark, a few days ago, the power industry, the utilities, and the industry made a climate alliance. And basically, what they are saying are, well, let's try and fix it. We are on board. Why? Because it's good business. Look at this. Since the first energy plan with CO2 reduction targets in 1990, our economy has grown with more than 50%. At the same time, the greenhouse gas emissions has been falling with more than 35%. We are on the right track. At the same time, we've created some large companies who now are the rock stars of the green transition on a global scale. I just mentioned Ørsted. That's the Danish energy company equivalent with Eskom here in South Africa. Ørsted has made the green transition. They're not quite through, but it's only 2 or 3 years ahead. And look at this is from the Copenhagen Stock Exchange. Well, it's good business. The shareholders love it. But let's have a look at some of the alternatives to fossil fuels. Onshore wind is a mature technology. In Denmark, it's possible to raise onshore wind parks, large or small, without subsidies. It's way cheaper than coal. And it creates jobs, not in the city center, but on the countryside. The new reality is wind beats coal. Just 3 examples, one from the UK. For the first time in 130 years, UK had built power without the use of coal for a full 16 days. It was earlier this year. Breaking news from Saudi Arabia, which is not a green pioneer in any way. Onshore wind, there's a park on the way with technology from the Danish company Vestas. They promise production prices around 2 US cents per kilowatt hours. That's cheap no matter where in the world you are. And the last one, I'll just quote CNN. Wind is outpacing coal as a power source in Texas for the first time. Also news from this year. Another alternative related to onshore wind, offshore wind, that is the new green. This is an offshore wind farm back in Denmark. I like it. I think it's very beautiful. Well, the technology has matured since the first very small park was raised in Denmark in 1991. Now it's big business. Look at the figure here, 2020, next year, Hornsea in United Kingdom, a great power plant with 1,200 megawatts. It will power more than 1 million UK homes. The newest tenders from Germany and Holland, the Netherlands, indicates that the next park would be without any subsidies. That's quite amazing, I think. Alternative 3, well, solar energy. Germany used to be a front runner, but now it has been taken over by China, United States, India, and others. And they are moving fast. Last year, we got 94 gigawatts solar online, outbeating coal, outbeating gas, and of course, the very expensive nuclear. In Denmark, if you've been there in the winter, you know it's cold, it's freezing, the sky is very low, the clouds hang here. Nevertheless, 100,000 Danish homes are families has invested in solar. It's a golden opportunity, I think, for South Africa to invest in solar, especially in off-grid areas. Large-scale, utility-scale solar, well, in fact, it's booming in Denmark. But again, I think it's a little bit more obvious in Africa. Nevertheless, Denmark has joined the subsidy-free club in Europe, along with Spain, Italy, Portugal, among others. Have a look at China in the bottom here. The solar industry expects to become subsidy-free by 2021. It's in 2 years. And that's amazing, and it's a game changer for the whole world. You remember the two keywords, decarbonization and electrification? Well, that's the way to go. It's a golden opportunity for all of us. If we make this transition, this could be the heroes of our time, people working in the power sector in Denmark, these guys, and in South Africa, if you grasp your opportunity and close down some of your coal power plants. Climate change is real, and it's alarming. You know it, I know it. Melting ice in the Arctic, sea level rise, extreme weather events, droughts, heat waves. We all need to do more. We all need to challenge ourselves and all of us. I've done that by creating a fictional daughter. I've been writing a lot of articles for adults like you, but I think we'll have to get the next generation on board. So introducing Victoria. She's 12 years old, and she's traveling around the world to try to understand what's going on. One of the books already released is this on the right side, Isbjørnen, it's the polar bear. It's a book about climate change. Victoria is very curious and fast learning, and she has 3 advices for all of us. Stop adding old carbon to the atmosphere. No more coal, no more oil. And the second, create more carbon sinks. We need to store carbon in forests, in wetlands, in soil, in mangroves. It's good for the climate, and it gives a lot of other benefits, making the Earth more resilient towards climate change than before. And the third one, that's of course renewables. This is a vision from Denmark and some of our neighboring countries. There are plans to make a lot of artificial islands in the North Sea, surrounded with offshore wind. The Danish Parliament, just in these days, are discussing exactly this vision. It could be a reality in 2030 with 10 gigawatts of wind surrounding this island. We need wisdom, we need visions, and we need actions. So my advice to all of us is work together, be brave, be bold. If you are a minister or a politician, well, set up some ambitious targets and fix the framework. If you're a mayor, well, set local goals and be pushy. If you're an investor, divest from oil and coal. The renewables are the future. If you're a citizen, we all are, well, be a good role model for your children, for your colleagues, your family, and whoever you meet. When we reach 2050, it will be warmer. We feel more consequences of global warming. But hopefully, we at that time will tell each other, we did our best to avoid the most catastrophic scenarios. We created the green transition. Thank you.